They're not letting her go. Is it right? Is it right? They're not letting the black girl go. 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 They're not letting the black girl go.
So many of us have been horrified by images of black students in Ukraine trying to flee war, and instead being met by racism. For decades, Ukraine has courted students from Africa as part of the country's tradition of providing affordable higher education to all. Now, Ukrainian universities house more than 76,000 foreign students. That's according to the BBC, with nearly a quarter of them from Africa and more than 20,000 from India. Now, as Russia creeps across the country, thousands of these students have attempted to flee to safety only to be caught in the grips of racism.
We still have people trapped, like in Sumy in Ukraine. There are students, thousands of them trapped because the bridges has been destroyed by bombs and everything, so they can't move. They are trapped there. No more food, no more water. So how are they going to feed? How are they going to survive?
Absolutely devastating. Joining me now is Kimberly St. Julian Varnon. She's an expert in the history of Ukraine and Russia, and Alexander Sontu-Ora, a student at the State of University of Telecommunications in Kyiv, who has just fled to Poland. Alexander, I'm so happy you're here. You're one of the thousands of students fleeing the violence that we were just talking about. You were turned away twice at the border. Please tell our viewers about your experience.
Okay, the first experience I witnessed was in Kyiv station, which is called Vokzana. They told us it's only for women and children to get in first before the men. But we told them, you were pushing African women out of the train, and you were also pushing South Asian women. What do you mean by women and children? Do you mean that those women are not qualified to get into the train? So we started protesting about that. We started shouting that you're not letting the black women get in. And they told us that another train is going to come, that the next train that comes, we allow them to get in. So we said, okay, the next train came in again, and they started doing the same thing. We have to block the road to the door, and started shouting before they allowed the African women. Then there was a train that came again. The train was going to Warsaw. I and my friends get in. They called the police on us and told us to get out of the train. And we asked them why. They said the train is mostly for Ukrainians. Okay, when we got down, we didn't see them checking passport because we know there are some black people with Ukraine passport. They were selecting only white people. They were not checking passport. Then we started protesting again. Finally, we got the train in the night and got to a city that has border with Poland, which is called Lviv. Then in the Lviv, most of the trains are going to Poland. They refused the African women again. And there were several African women, pregnant African women, those with children. They were telling us that this is mostly for Ukraine. And we said, no, these women must move because they cannot be in this cold. We struggled for hours before they could allow these women to go. Now, women knew that we cannot get into the train. We trekked to the border. We trekked for more than half a day to the border. When we got to the border, there was a barricade 30 minutes to the border. They separated us. They separated us. They said the white people should go to the other side, then the non-white people should go to the other side. So many people have slept there for 3 days, 2 days. They were allowing only white people. They will allow like 100 white people, and they allow like 2 black people or non-Asians. We started shouting and protesting. We protested for 3 days before they could allow us to move. They didn't allow us to move. We pushed in and protested. We have to push through. Then one of the soldiers popped on. That was in the morning, and told us that if we break the barricade, that he's going to shoot us. We told him that we are students. We are not illegal immigrants. We pay our school fees. We have our resident card. You have to allow us to move. They didn't care. One of them got into a bus that was parked there. He drove back and was coming down with speed. He wanted to run into us. We didn't budge. We raised our hands up and started shouting that if they kill us here, we would never go free. Then one of them called for backup, which is the police. The police came and cocked gun again in front of us and was insulting us, telling us that we have to stay here. We told them, no, we cannot stay here. We have been here and you've been moving the white people away. What do you mean that we have to stay here? That was how we protested before we broke the barricade. Then we got to the border. That was the second discrimination among us. When we got to the border, they told us that the border was closed. We said, okay, we saw people that have slept there for 3 days. That's the border. It's not even the other place that we passed. And we asked them why. They said they have been passing white people. They are not allowing them. Then we said, okay, let's wait. In the morning before 12, a man on black came and told us, if you are Indian, African, or Arab, leave this place and go to Romanian border. We told them, no, we cannot anymore. We've threatened for many days. We cannot go back. They say we have to go back. We told them we can't go back. Why are you telling us that? Why you were pushing? We were passing other Europeans that are white. You didn't even ask for passport. If you meant Indians and Africans, then check our passport. At the end of everything, they went back and negotiated and came back again and told us only women and children, which is when they started allowing women and children. They didn't discriminate about. They allow only women and children of all races. But that was when we protested against all these things.
Alexander, I want to say I'm so happy that you're safe, and I am so sorry that you had such a horrific experience. I want to remind our viewers, when they were telling when you had to sleep for days at one of the borders, it is unbelievably freezing. It's cold in Ukraine. So I just don't want our viewers to take that lightly, that you were stuck there for days. And I'm very proud to see you, Brother Alexander, safe and well. I'm up against a hard break, and I'll bring you in on the other side, Kimberly. But just before we go, Alexander, I just want to know, how are you doing right now? Are you safe and are you okay?
Yes, I'm currently safe and I'm okay, even though I still need to go for hospital checkup. But I'm currently helping others that are across the border to get accommodation because we don't have enough accommodation, and our government didn't provide enough accommodation for us. And that's what I've been doing, trying to get accommodation for so many people, which is what I've been doing for days now. So I'm fine now. Just that my focus is on the people that have crossed.
That's very, very giving and selfless of you. And we are in the diaspora with you, brother. But don't go anywhere, because I want to hear more of this story. And Kimberly, I want to bring you into this conversation on the other side of the break. Stay with us as we continue this important conversation on the other side.